Alright guys, what's going on? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video talking about Twilight. Ah! So yes, it's true, but the good news is Twilight is finally over. The series is done. The 4 movies are finished, so I don't have to go see it with my girlfriend ever again. Now here's the deal. She comes with me to see, all kinds of different movies like, Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Avengers, all the comic book movies, all the stuff that I like to see, some zombie movies every once in a while. You know how it is. So I got a pretty good deal out of it. I had to go see those 4, and in exchange she comes and sees like 10 comic book movies with me, so it's over 2 to 1, so it's fair. It's fair, but I want to give my thoughts on it and say that, I did survive it. I did. It was tough. It wasn't always easy to sit through it, but I did. I got through it, and I'm going to say it is an abomination on film. Absolutely an abomination. Now, it is geared towards females. That you can just, as you're watching it, you can just feel the estrogen just pouring off the screen towards you, and the aura that it creates, just like, I wouldn't recommend eating before you see it if you guys have to go with your girlfriends or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Don't say that you don't do it. You know you get talked into it. Come on, we all do. It happens. And I want to give my quick thoughts on Twilight, because I shouldn't just review things that I enjoy. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of those type of people that just review things I enjoy. I should do some negative, low-light reviews every once in a while and kind of give my thoughts on nothing too in-depth because I'm not an expert. I can see how it appeals towards women. I can see how it appeals towards them. I think probably the most interesting about this thing about the series is that they sort of found a way to take elements of sort of like comic booky elements. I want to call them comic booky, but they're not. I mean, you have like, the folklore of vampires and werewolves and all that kind of nonsense. And they gear it towards women, which is a new thing. That hasn't really been done before. You haven't had, that type of thing, those type of genres, which are usually all geared towards action and for men, geared towards women. And now, before the last movie, of course, they show a trailer for Warm Bodies, and they're going to do the same thing with zombies. It looks like, oh, how terrible! I got to make sure I stay away from that, because if they start making multiples of those, I don't want to have to go see those too, because oh my gosh. So I can appreciate that it's the first thing to sort of gear, it's the first movie or book or story to gear those type of elements so well towards women and capture that section of the audience, which is something that has not been done before. Generally when you think of, vampires or werewolves or comic book characters or characters with supernatural abilities like X-Men and powers and this kind of stuff, superpowers, you would think about that's a male-dominated genre. Those types of genres are geared towards men. They're not geared towards females. So this is the first one to do that, and obviously it did extremely well because it became, for women, especially teenage women, became like a whole phenomenon in and of itself. To give my thoughts on the movies real quick, the first one is pretty painful, but it's not the worst of the series. The second one is a little bit more painful, a little bit worse. The third one in Breaking Dawn is, oh my God, it's an abomination. It's the worst movie I've ever seen. I think it'd be number 1 as the worst movie I've ever seen, and I would have walked out if I didn't have to stay. But yeah, that one's the worst one. The last one, the first half of it really sucks, but there is a really cool fight at the end, which is one thing I got to, I got to hand it to it. They did have a really cool fight at the end of the whole Twilight series, where you have some vampires getting their heads ripped off and, different things happening, which was pretty cool. I'll give it to them. It's no Underworld. Don't get me wrong. I love Underworld, by the way. I think the Underworld series is a lot of fun and really great. But, the action was pretty good at the end. It was pretty good. Overall, to give the series a rating I'm going to give it 2 ratings. From a male's perspective, don't eat before you watch it if you have to watch it, because you'll feel like you want to puke a lot. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. A 2 out of 10. Or a 1 out of 10. Could I give it a 0? You can't give it a 0. A 0 is not fair. That's like it doesn't exist. Let's see. Okay. I'll give the first 3, like a 1. The last one I'll give it a 2 because the action sequence at the end was pretty good. But in terms of women, I mean, it appeals to them. It has some kind of, it has something that other movies don't when it comes to them. It's sort of entrancing for them. I don't know why, romantically or whatever. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for its appeal towards women. But that being said, it was still a painful process to go through that. I'm glad it's over now, and hopefully that'll be the end of it. Hopefully they don't make any more, and that'll be it. It'll be history, and I'll definitely stick to watching Underworld whenever I want to satisfy my vampire werewolf craze. By the way, Underworld's awesome. I gotta do some reviews for Underworld. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Yes, I did just review Twilight. This is Trev saying peace.